Hello, and welcome to this Tech Talk brought to you by the Albert Lea Public Library. Today, we are going to be talking about staying on top of your emails. I think it can be a common problem to kind of let emails build up over time. I know I'm guilty of it. You get emails, you don't have time for them right away, or you don't want to look at them, and then all of a sudden you've got hundreds of emails that you haven't read or deleted or done anything with in your inbox, and it can be overwhelming when you go to take care of those. So there's some tips and tricks that will help with staying on top of the email inbox. You can make sure you can see important messages. That's also one reason to stay on top of it. And then a few tips at the end to save some time if you're feeling like some of the reasons that you don't clean out your email inbox is it might take a little bit of time. So I'm going to go through some tips, explain them a little bit, and go from there. So the first tip is to organize your emails into folders. So whether you use Charter Email, Gmail, Yahoo, or another email provider, you can usually organize your emails into folders. So you can create different folders and then put important messages into the folders. You can also in the settings, have emails from a specific person or with a specific subject heading go directly into a specific folder. That might not be available on every email platform, but the major email platforms allow you to do that. So that's an option as well. So if you can create folders in every email program. It's going to be a little different of where you create your folders, so I'm not going to talk about the specifics of it, but if you look up or go on the internet and search for your specific email provider and how to create a folder, you should get instructions on how to do that. So if, let's say you have 3 different organizations you're involved in, you could create a folder for each of those 3 and put important emails in there. That way your inbox is clean and it's not cluttered up with emails that you know you need to save for whatever reason. And it also just keeps everything in one place. You know, you can have a folder if you get a lot of emails from, let's say, an organization that sends you recipes for cooking. You could create a folder and put those all in there so that you know, all right, I haven't read these, I haven't looked at them, but they're in a folder for when I need them, and it doesn't clutter your inbox. So folders can be your best friend in emails in terms of keeping things organized. Another good tip is to archive emails after you respond to or read them. So say an email comes in, you respond to the email, and the conversation is over. You could, if you don't need the email anymore, delete the conversation. A lot of email providers, I know this is very popular on Gmail, you can archive the email, and so it's saved, but it just takes it out of your inbox, so it's not cluttering up space. So it's still there if you need to see it. I highly recommend, if there's a conversation that goes on, the email chain's over, and you know you're not going to need those emails anymore, there's nothing important in them, or you've already downloaded what you need and you don't need to save the correspondence, just go ahead and delete the email. It's a lot easier. But if you do need it, you can either archive them, or like we just talked about, you could create a folder and put them in a folder so they're all organized, so if you need to go in and look at them after, you can. So that's just another tip to help you kind of stay on top of your emails. Is you see an email, open it right away. If you have time and respond, great. If you read it and you don't need to respond, either delete it, archive it, or stick it in a folder, and then it's out of the way and you don't have to see that email in your inbox anymore. It also frees up space, so email clients usually have a limited amount of space that you can save, that you have for your inbox, and sometimes you could run out of space. So if you delete emails that you don't need, then it frees up space and you won't ever have that issue. So I think we all know that emails where you sign up for something, you get on an email list, and all of a sudden every day, every other day, you're getting emails from a company, an organization. And at first it might be nice, but eventually you may not want those anymore. So usually at the very bottom of an email that's generated, you'll see an unsubscribe button. So if you keep getting emails from the same people and you don't want them anymore, all right, this organization or this store I never shop at anymore, or I don't shop at frequently enough to get your coupons every day, just go down to the bottom of the list and unsubscribe. That way you won't get those spam messages anymore from them. Now, this can take a little bit of time, so you may want to go ahead and designate an hour or two to really go through all of your newsletters and unsubscribe from the ones that you really don't read anymore. But once you do, you'll start getting a lot less emails, so it won't be as hard to stay on top of your emails. So the next tip is to edit your email notification settings from any social media sites you use. So for instance, on Facebook, you can change your settings to get an email every time it's someone's birthday, every time you get a notification, every time something's posted in a group. You could get a notification for a lot of things. And for most people, that adds up to a ton of emails. So you could go into Facebook, or if you're on Twitter or any other social media platform, you can go to that social media platform, and in your settings, there'll be a way to edit your email notifications. And so if you like getting certain email notifications, you could leave those on, but go through and see exactly what you're getting emails about and decide which you want and what you don't want emails for. A lot of times people log into their social media sites maybe the same or more frequently than their email these days. And so a lot of times those emails you don't need, and they're just sitting in your inbox, just cluttering it up, and chances are you look at it, you delete it, and it's done with. So instead of having to delete them all the time, just stop the notifications, and you won't get as many emails just cluttered there to have to go through. And then the next tip is to empty your spam folder periodically, and to also look at your spam folder periodically. So I'm definitely guilty of this. I don't look at it all that often. I've gotten into more of a habit of it recently, but sometimes important messages can go into your spam folder. So I try to look at it, I think recommended once a week, just to see if there's anything in that accidentally went into your spam folder that should not have been there. But it's good to go through and just see what kind of spam is there. You can check all the boxes and delete everything that's in there if you've gone through and you know nothing's important. And it just empties a little bit of space in your email. And it kind of feels good after you delete some spam emails, and then the folder's open, and so more things can get filtered in there. So that's just a little tip to help you with some organization and to keep you on top of things. And so the next tips are just a few tips that I think are good ones to save time when you're dealing with emails. So as I mentioned, a lot of people get a ton of emails. And so maybe you want to keep all those subscription lists because there may be a coupon you want to use. That's fine. You can keep them and delete them as they go. But email clients have a search feature, and it can save a ton of time. So if you're looking for an email, you know who it's from, or maybe part of the subject, or what might be in the message, just hop up to that search bar and type in what you're looking for. So for instance, let's say you ordered a package and you know the company you ordered it from and you're looking for the tracking information. Just go up top, type in that company, and that email should pop up there. And you'll be able to get right to it. So it saves a ton of time from having to scroll through a ton of emails, where you can just use the search feature. And usually search features search all your folders. So it's one really quick way to kind of cross-search if you've created a bunch of folders. So that's a tip that will help you save a ton of time, especially if you have a lot of messages in your inbox that you want to save and you haven't created folders, or you decide not to create folders, that's fine. But remember that search feature. Creating a signature. Usually this is in the settings of your email. It can be as simple as your name. It can be your name followed by your email address. If it's a kind of a work email or an organization email, you could create a signature for that. And that way you don't have to type out your name every time you send an email. It's a lot easier to go in and delete your emails, or delete your signature, excuse me, than it is to type out your signature every time you want to use it. So, for instance, in my personal email, I have a signature that has my name and my email address. If I'm sending an email to my family, I usually just delete the signature. But it's a lot faster to highlight and delete the signature than it is to type out my name for an email that I want my name to be sent at. So usually that's in your settings, so you can find the signatures in your settings. And then email templates. So it's a little bit trickier, but most email clients, you can create templates. So let's say you use your email address for a few different functions, and maybe one of them is sending out emails for an organization or something like that, where you kind of use the same template. You can create a template and just fill in some pertinent information. It'll save a lot of time. Now, this isn't usually applicable for personal emails, although it can be. But if you have an email for, let's say you run an email for an organization, a nonprofit, something you volunteer for, or work, email templates can save you a ton of time from typing out a whole nother email. Just pop in that template, add the information you need, delete what you don't, and send it on its way. So if you find yourself copying a lot of the same emails, then email templates are probably a good option to look into. And again, every email client's a little different, but you could go into the internet browser and search your email client and how to use templates or something of that nature, and you should get some instructions as long as it's available to you. So this has been a Tech Talk from the Alberta Public Library with some tips about staying on top of your email inbox as well as saving you a little bit of time. So I hope you found the tips helpful, and we will be back again next week with another Tech Talk. Thanks.